Hello everyone! Welcome to Aida's Tailoring. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to nail the flat fell stitch, which is the strongest and more durable stitch for jeans, but as well for another garments. So let's go! The flat fell is a seam that wrapped itself so the raw edges are completely covered. It's very comfortable and very sturdy. It is mostly used on the inseam of the pants and as well as the center back seam. The flat fell is so similar to the French seam that pretty often people confuse them. People sometimes are afraid of it, but I'm going to demystify those seams for you. First, let's start with the easier way to do it. Usually patterns come at 5/8 of the inch seam allowance. So I'm going to mark a line at 5/8 of the inch from the edge. Then I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to make a stitch over my mark. Now I'm going to cut 3/8 of the inch of one of the seam allowances. So this seam allowance will have just 1/4 inch. Now that I have one long and one short, I'm gonna fold the widest seam allowance over the short one. I'm gonna press it with the iron so it will be more comfortable and easier to do. Then I'm gonna push both seams together towards the shorter side. And of course, a good press always makes things easier. I swear, pressing is the cheat code of alterations and sewing. Now that everything is easy, I'm gonna go back to my sewing machine and I'm gonna make a top stitch just right beside of the original stitch, more or less at 1/16 of the inch. That way all the raw material will be caught underneath. Then I'm gonna go back on the top and I'm gonna make a second stitch. This stitch will be placed at 1/4 of inch, which is pretty much the width of your foot. And you just sew it and ta-da! You got yourself a very easy and simple flat fell. As you can see, the raw edges are inside and you cannot see anything in any of the sides of the fabric. With this one, you have a double stitch at the top side and then you will have 3 stitches in the wrong side of the material. But there is a catch with this stitch. Let me show you a regular jeans. You see, when you have a jeans, it's very important the symmetry, although it's very difficult to get. And as you can see, the distance from the pocket to each side of the stitch is the same. So we could say that the center front of this pair of pants is exactly in between the 2 stitches. In the stitch that we just did, it doesn't happen the same way. The center will be shifted a little bit to one side. So if you are making a pair of jeans, you won't have that seam centered. Well, you could calculate it and make one piece bigger than the other, of course. But I wanted to show you a more professional way to make that seam. In this case, you are gonna mark one of the pieces at 3/8 of the inches from the edge. So we are talking here of a smaller seam allowance. So you are gonna mark the left piece on the right side of the fabric and you are gonna mark the right piece on the wrong side of the fabric. So I'm gonna mark my 3/8 of the inches, this time on the wrong side. Now that I have my mark, I can fold my fabric on my marks. So I'm gonna go to my ironing mat and I'm gonna press those pieces at my marks. Remember, one will go in and the other will go out. This is the way I mark it, because what I'm looking for is to wrap my 2 edges so they will cover each other. That's a little bit difficult to do because the fabric moves too much. So what I'm gonna do is to make one stitch first so my fabric doesn't move. So I'm gonna place the 2 fabric together, the left side on top of the right side, and I'm gonna make sure that the very edge of the left side doesn't surpass the mark I previously did. when I have that seam, then I have it secure, and then just make my flat felt will be so easy. I just have to fold it in the original way, and as you can see, it will look the same at the bottom and it will look the same at the top. I'm gonna change that thread because I use just the thread that was on my machine, and I think you cannot even see it. So it doesn't matter if I sew on the right side of the fabric or the wrong side, it will look the same. But obviously when you stitch in the right side of the fabric, it will look better, the stitch. So of course I'm stitching in the right side. I'm gonna make my first stitch in the edge, like probably at 1/16, and then I'm gonna make the second stitch at 1/4 inch, or again the width of my foot, and this is the result. You see, it's so beautiful. It looks amazing. And now, as you can see, it's completely symmetrical. It's the same distance from the stitch to the edge, so I can perfectly use my pieces of my jeans and do my job without any problem with the symmetry. I'm gonna tell you anyways that there are machines that automatically, so it's for us that don't have those kind of machines that we have to improvise. So if you are doing the back seam, better to do the second method. But if you are just doing the sides, the inseam on the jeans, you can use the first one, which is easier. So let me see the jeans I'm wearing now. As you can see, this is faux flat felt, you see? So this one is even easier because you don't have to do too much. Let me show you how to do this one. You are going to take your pieces and then you are going to stitch them at 3/8 of the inches, or even a 1/2 inch. I prefer 3/8 because is not so bulky. And then you are going to serge it, and then you are going to move the seam allowance to one side, and then you are going to top stitch that, and then you are going to make your second top stitch, and that's it, done. In that case, you will have your faux flat felt, and pretty much it will look the same from the outside. Just the inside is that it looks different. So you have the 3 ways to do it. Well, there are more, of course, but these are the most important way. So what do you think? Does that make sense? Do you feel comfortable now with the flat felt? I really want this to make sense to you. Please let me know in the comments. If you find this video useful or entertaining, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!